Yo, what's up? Welcome back to another episode of The Sauce, continuing on NFL Week 3, Detroit at Arizona. Let's go.
Welcome to The Sauce. The Sauce. Sauce. Hey, get the sauce.
All right, like I said, we got the Lions on the road in Arizona here. Cards catching 3 points at home. Total now sitting at 51.5. That's been bought down from 52.5. Let's take a look at the pie charts according to this data, which I don't know if you should trust, but according to the data, it's definitely action's definitely coming in on Arizona. Tickets and money percentage leaning towards the Cardinals in this one. So let's get into this one. Detroit definitely off to a bit of a disappointing start offensively. Start off with 2 home games. Last season averaged 30 points per game in their home games. This year they've scored 33 points combined in their 2 home games. So definitely not the start we were expecting offensively. Jared Goff, 62.7% completions, just 6.3 yards per attempt, 1 touchdown, 3 interceptions, 69.5 passer rating. That is not what you would expect from Jared Goff starting off with back-to-back home games. And it's not like they opened the season up against the Ravens and the 49ers. They played the Rams and the Bucks. Those 2 teams were 18th and 22nd in pass defense EPA last season. So, these aren't elite pass defenses. Maybe they're improved, but these are not elite pass defenses. Jared Goff still struggled a little bit to start the season. And it gets even weirder than that, honestly, because you might be thinking, maybe the offensive line isn't holding up. Maybe they're getting pressure on Goff because Goff has historically struggled with pressure. And that's true if you look at last year's numbers. Clear-cut drop-off in production when Jared Goff gets pressure. When given a clean pocket, Jared Goff is as good as it gets in the NFL. But so far this season, he's been pressured on just 27.3% of his dropbacks. That's the 8th lowest in the NFL. So the offensive line's doing their part. They're giving him a clean pocket. He's just not delivering. This season, amongst 32 qualified quarterbacks, Jared Goff, when given a clean pocket, 31st in PFF passer grade, 28th in turnover-worthy play rate, 27th in passer rating. So he's just not making the throws, whether he's not on the same page as his receivers or his accuracy is off. We definitely saw a few bad ones in the first couple games. It's just not there. The production has not been there for Jared Goff so far this season. Look at the comparison of Jared Goff's numbers when given a clean pocket at Ford Field this year compared to last year. They're not even on the same wavelength here. Yards per attempt, 8.9 to 6.2. I'm not going to read through them all, but an extreme drop-off in production here to start the season. But it's only been 2 games. You don't want to overreact to stuff like this. Now he goes on the road to Arizona. What do we think of Goff's matchup here against the Cardinals? Well, one thing we do have to give the Cardinals is they are generating some pressure. In week 1, they were 12th in the NFL in pressure generated. In week 2, they were 11th. This was one of the worst pass rushes in the NFL last year. They were 31st in pressure rate, 28th in adjusted sack rate. So definitely nice to see, if you're a Cardinals fan, that 2 weeks in a row, you were able to get some pressure on the quarterback. Now, will that continue in this one against Detroit? I'd probably have to lean towards no. Lions have one of the best offensive lines in football. So I think the Cardinals pass rush, we've seen it improved. It's going to be improved this year. I don't think they're going to get much pressure on Goff in this one. And as far as the run game goes, we can poke holes in Jared Goff's production so far this season. Lions have been running the ball. They're averaging 29 rushing attempts a game, 151 rushing yards per game, 5.21 yards per carry. So the Lions' run game has been there. That's been as advertised. They're 2nd in rushing DVOA, 6th in adjusted line yards, 1st in rushing success rate. And the Cardinals were one of the worst run defenses in the NFL last year. 28th in the NFL, allowing 4.7 yards per carry, 27th in EPA, 30th in DVOA. So the Cardinals were terrible against the run last year. Granted, we do have to cut them some slack. They had some injuries on the defensive front last year, and we definitely expect them to be better. And you know what? We have to give them their flowers here because they opened up their season against the Rams and Bills, 2 offenses that were in the top 10 of rushing DVOA last year. And they started off shutting down the run. Just 91.5 rushing yards per game allowed, 26.5 rushing attempts against allowed, 3.45 yards per carry. So this Cardinals defense, one of the worst run defenses in the NFL last year, opens up the season against the Rams and Bills, 2 teams that were able to run the football pretty effectively last year. They held them to 3.45 yards per carry. This Cardinals run defense is looking pretty good. That being said, they're just 25th in success rate, and there were some weird circumstances in those first 2 games. In the Bills game, Josh Allen was doing whatever he wanted through the air, so they didn't really need the rushing attack that much. Not trying to take credit away from him. I'm just saying it's not like the Cardinals defense was good in that game. And then last week against the Rams, they were up 21-0 before I even got the game on my TV. They had a 3-touchdown lead almost immediately. So the Rams, unfortunately, weren't really able to make establishing the run part of their game plan. Well, I'm not trying to take any credit away from the Cardinals' run defense. They look great, but I think we can all agree that there's some regression coming. We know this isn't going to be a top 10 run defense this year. And the Lions' offensive line with Gibbs and Montgomery, this seems like the perfect spot for the Cardinals' run defense to come back to life here and get run on. So I like the Lions to run the ball in this game. As far as Jared Goff, I mean, he'll have opportunities to make plays. Can he make them? I honestly don't know. I would like to think that we shouldn't overreact after 2 weeks and he should bounce back, but I really don't know on that front. Now let's flip it over to the other side and talk about the Cardinals offense. And we all know Prop Beaver very publicly on the live show was hating on Kyler Murray. His quote was, "People for some reason still think Kyler Murray is a good quarterback. Hasn't been good since 2021. It's been since 2021 since the guy has shown that." He said that on the live show. He did have evidence backing that. I mean, through week 8 in 2021, he had a plus 32.1% passing DVOA. Since then, he really hasn't been consistently good at all in the last 3 years. He had been terrible against the Rams, 1-7 straight up with an 82 average passer rating, 6.4 yards per attempt. So he had reason to say that. But Kyler Murray came out and put a perfect passer rating up. 158.3, 3 touchdowns, no picks, 17 of 21 passing. So Kyler Murray looked very good against the Rams. The Cardinals offense has scored 69 points so far this season. So heading into week 3, we're all kind of asking ourselves the same question here. Is this Cardinals offense for real? I mean, they certainly look excellent. The Cardinals running the ball shouldn't shock anybody. They were able to run the ball last year. The reason that I'm a little hesitant to just jump on the Cardinals bandwagon is the issue with this Cardinals offense for the last few years has always been consistency. We've seen them look good here and there. In fact, last season, they didn't post positive passing production numbers in back-to-back weeks until week 17 and 18. So the entire season, every time they had a positive passing DVOA rating, they followed it up with a negative one. It took till week 17 and 18 last year to finally see them post back-to-back positive passing production numbers. And those 2 games were against the Eagles and the Seahawks, who in the second half of the year were arguably the 2 worst pass defenses in the entire NFL. And let's not forget that week 1 matchup against the Bills was a little bit deceiving in terms of the Cardinals offense. Yeah, they put up 28 points. They covered the number. They only had 270 yards of offense in the game. And look at Kyler Murray's numbers. 21 of 31, 162 yards. That's about 5 yards per attempt. That's not good. 91 passer rating. So it's not like Kyler Murray lit the Bills up or anything. He didn't even have a great game statistically throwing the ball. He made some plays with his legs. So if you go by that pattern that the Cardinals passing offense and Kyler Murray never have back-to-back positive passing days, this would be the day he falls off. Maybe this is a new Cardinals team and we should just throw everything out. I thought it was interesting enough to mention, though. And look, it's definitely tough to take in when you consider how bad the Lions were against the pass last year. I mean, they were 30th in the NFL, allowing 7.4 yards per pass attempt, 25th in EPA, 16th in pass defense DVOA. Now, the pass rush does look good this year. They were first in the NFL last season, off to a strong start again this year, 10th so far this season. Aiden Hutchinson had like 18 sacks last week or something like that. They blitzed the hell out of Baker Mayfield, 53.8% blitz rate on Baker Mayfield's dropbacks last week. I'm interested to see how they come out against Kyler Murray here, because Kyler Murray last year was actually much better against the blitz. It's when you didn't blitz, Kyler Murray is when he ran into problems. Look at these splits here. 2nd, 7th, and 4th on the left side when blitzed last season. When not blitzed, 29th, 31st, 26th. So Kyler Murray, much better against the blitz last year. We'll have to see what Dan Campbell dials up against them this week. But what do we think about James Conner running the ball? And I think this is interesting. First of all, he's off to a good start to the season, but really week 2 is when he went off. Week 1 against Buffalo, he didn't do anything. 16 carries, 50 yards, just 3.13 yards per carry. Week 2, he looked significantly better against the Rams. 21 carries, 122 yards, 5.8 yards per carry. The run defense DVOA rankings from those 2 teams last year were 20th and 17th. So these were 2 average to below average run defenses last year. Now they're playing the Lions, who were arguably the best run defense in the NFL, them and the Texans. Last year, teams averaged just 3.8 yards per carry against the Lions. That was 3rd in the NFL, 4th in EPA, 1st in run defense DVOA. And remember, this is a Lions defensive front that added DJ Reader in the offseason. They might even be better this year. Through 2 weeks, they're allowing just 76.5 rushing yards per game, 3.32 yards per carry. So teams have not been able to run the ball on the Lions. The weakness of this Lions defense has been defending the pass. They're 14th 17th in DVOA, 24th in EPA per dropback, 19th in success rate. So I don't really trust James Conner and the Cardinals run game to be there against the Lions in this one. That puts a lot of pressure on Kyler Murray to win this game with his arm. But here's the thing, he can also use his legs, and this is where it gets a little shaky for the Lions. So last year, the Lions played 3 games against mobile quarterbacks. It was Justin Fields twice and Lamar Jackson. In those games, they allowed 66 rushing yards per game to the quarterback, 5.1 yards per carry. But it gets a little deeper than that, because not only were those mobile quarterbacks able to run on Detroit, but they had successful games throwing the ball as well. Those 3 quarterbacks, mobile quarterbacks against the Lions last year, completed over 67% of their passes, 9 yards per pass attempt, and an average passer rating of over 116. Now, with Lamar Jackson, that's not very weird, but Justin Fields, yeah, that's a little weird. So it seems this Lions defense might have some problems against mobile quarterbacks, and yeah, maybe we could sit here and be like, I don't trust Kyler Murray to win this game just solely on his arm. Well, he can use his legs as well, and that could be a problem for the Lions. In those 3 games against mobile quarterbacks last year, the Lions allowed 30.7 points per game. So this defense struggled against those quarterbacks that can move, and Kyler Murray can definitely move, which is why I can't lay the 3 points with Detroit here, even though I do think they bounce back. I do expect them to take the run game away from the Cardinals, and I doubt the Cardinals are able to put up 30 or more points against the Lions. I think it's going to be lower scoring. I did bet the under. I got it at 52.5. It's down to 51.5 now. I like the Lions defense to give Kyler Murray some problems, take away the run game. I think it's going to be a struggle for the Cardinals offense. I doubt they're going to follow this pattern and put up 30 plus points. So I expect it to be a struggle for the Cardinals offense. But on the other side, I expect the Cardinals defensive front to put up a fight here. They've done a good job against the run so far, and I expect Dan Campbell to try to run the football. They need this win. They're coming off a loss. The run game's been working. I expect them to hand the ball off. A lot of running, a lot of clock running. 52.5 is a super high number, so I took the under. As far as taking a side, I mean, I guess I'd lean towards Cardinals +3, but honestly, what about an under and maybe a Kyler Murray over rushing yards? I don't give out a lot of props, but I think that's a good look here. Kyler Murray over rushing yards. My bet is under 52.5. If you want to see all the bets I currently have open, head over to KyleKirms.com and click on Open Bets. You'll see all mine as well as everyone on the staff here. Also, if you sign up for Sauce Network Plus, it comes with access to the Discord, and you can participate in the weekly betting league. $150 and one of these trophies go to the winner every single week. So if you're interested in any of that, head over to the website and sign up. Let's have ourselves a good week 3 here. Live shows. Saturday morning college football show, 10 a.m. up to kickoff. We'll be live for 2 straight hours. Same thing for NFL Sundays. 11 a.m. Eastern time up to kickoff. We'll go through every single game. If you're able to make it, we'd love to see you in the comments. Let's have ourselves a good one. Remember to bet responsibly. Talk to you in the Discord.